let's do a quick inventory of it and be completely honest.
I don't know if I'm gonna remember, but
no. This is a different inventory. Okay. Do you guys actually like the series?
Yes. Why do you say it at the same time?
It's like, that's a ridiculous question, of course.
Well, I'm trying to think, like, what do you mean? Because, okay, I'll let you.
No, go ahead.
No. I was just thinking, I listened to another one with Abby because I need to know who Abby is.
Nice.
Since I get jealous. Shoot. Oh, and your guys' friend or her friend said that to know me, you have to have read Harry Potter.
Yes.
I still don't get that, even though I'm almost done. And I feel like it's because I didn't grow up reading them.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Don't tell Abby, though.
Yeah. But Abby, we talked about that in the next podcast we did, the most recent release one. And she was like...
Listen, 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, Christine, she texted us after, and she's like so you know that part. Yeah.
I don't know that part.
It's her family.
Yeah, it's like her family. And she means that in two different ways. Like, you read the characters, and the characters are like your family, especially growing up when you read these series, because you have like more of a prolonged experience. Like, you guys are reading this book in a year and a half, these books in a year and a half. It took me like, I started when the fourth book had come out, and it still took me like 6-7 years for all of them to be released till like completely released. I think it was like 6-7 years. So I had longer periods of time where I'm like sitting with these, rereading them, living with the characters. And then also like she read it with her family. So that's like her mom read it to her.
Whoa.
I think aloud. And like her and her husband are reading it together out loud for his first time read.
That was also crazy.
Yeah.
What she was saying.
Yeah.
In the hospital.
I know. Literally they had a baby. Jen knows like all of season 2. This is the best.
Because I'm a binger of I listen to like the first 10 minutes and then I move on.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to hear, especially if it's hours. I'm like, nope.
It's too much.
Yeah. It's a good pick me up though when I'm tired of like information overload from my other podcasts. I'm like, this is a easy breezy one that I can listen to and get some info.
Nice.
What?
Oh, just fun. It's relaxing to listen to our podcast, you know. Or at least listen to Abby.
Well, I just am so curious because like it's funny because obviously we've not met her.
Yeah.
And then I'm learning more.
Yep.
By listening to them, so then I'm so curious. I'm like, oh, so like, because now I want to know what she knows, and like, what are her theories? Because we were the first few readers, and now like,
I wonder what other people think about this kind of stuff.
So
and
true.
When you guys like look back on the first and second book, you're like, those are so like not elementary, but like you're like compared to the last few books, those are so simple.
Yeah, right.
But I don't. Well, you're a reader, so I'm like, how does it compare? But everyone that like loves reading is obsessed with. Yeah. Not everyone. That's It's whatever.
It's like there are other stories. I was talking about this on when I was streaming, I think a few nights ago, playing video games, playing Legacy. But there's like a thing in literature where some people make their storylines super complex. Like the Dune series is like that, where you read that and people say you can read half of the first book and you're good. They're like, don't read anything beyond that because it's just, they get into religion. Like there was like thousands of religion that this guy made up. There's like thousands of languages that this guy made up. And he just gets into all the nitty gritty of that. And it's like crazy world building, but like the storyline is so intricate and complex. But the storyline of Harry Potter is intricate and complex. And like, you don't know, like we were talking about this for a while. And even like Tamale Talks, we talk about this, how complex the characters are. That like Harry, even you were saying at the beginning, you're like, Harry's so much better in the books compared to the movies. We loved him in the first 2 books. And then later on, we're like, Harry's kind of annoying. Like, why does he make these kind of decisions? He just gets like a little bit like a teenager. And you're like, I can't stand some of his decision making. So these characters just get complex and it just becomes, I think, really fun. And it's really good writing too. So.
Yep. And even in here, we start to feel bad for Draco a little bit.
I know.
And it was hard to imagine that a few books ago.
Yeah.
And now we're like, this is weird. And he's been eviler than ever. And yet, in comparison, when he's the one in the room with Voldemort, he feels like the nicest guy in the room in a weird way. So I end up like feeling bad for him, and I'm like, this is twisted and ugh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's true.
But you guys actually do really like the series, right?
Yeah.
Big time.
I think I'm always hesitant because I'm like, I'm not a Potterhead.
Oh, yes, you are.
Yeah, you are.
Maybe I'm just in denial.
Yeah, Potterhead in denial.
Wait, so is Abby? She's not hooked on it yet
No.
because she's doing it to burn you.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But we like you guys. If you guys,
The first 2 books are she can burn you.
thank you. And then she's gonna be. You guys
Yeah.
probably will agree with me. She's gonna get hooked on the 3rd book, maybe the 4th one, right?
I hope so. I'm surprised she's made it. Where are you guys now?
We're at the beginning of book 2.
I
Okay,
could see
all right,
that,
beginning.
because I was like, I don't know. I think I liked it because I knew I grew up with the first book, kind of like as a kid. I read it and I don't remember any of it and then saw the first movie, so it was kind of like meant something to me. But I feel like it's not the greatest. It's not that exciting.
Yeah. Yep. Again, comparative to
What's
the other
3?
ones. 3 is
Phoenix.
Azkaban.
No, Azkaban.
Prisoner of
That's
Azkaban.
good too.
So that's like
But then
all
4
the
was
mystery
really good.
and the reveal, and that's why it really does feel like it took it to the next level.
We just had someone comment on Reddit, on like our members intro Reddit, and they were like, I've been really hesitant about joining the community. I'm a first time reader. She said, I just finished book 3 and I started book 4 and I am obsessed with the beginning of book 4. Cause like you were
that
too.
was me,
Yep.
right?
That was like the best.
I'm like trying to remember that.
Book 4 was when they go into the house and like the house.
Yes, Nagini
That
and
riddle
stuff.
house, Nagini, all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
that
So
was
interesting.
So good.
But she's reading a few chapters and she listens to the podcast and she reads the next few chapters, listens to the podcast. So it's like pretty cool. She goes
Let's
back and
see if
forth.
Abby gets the polyjuice guy.
Oh,
I know.
Barty Crouch, Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah. Junior.
Let's
Yeah.
see. I want to see how detective.
And then I guess we'll fly her out so we can do our trivia night at the end of everything.
Exactly.
Oh man.
I'm glad that you guys are liking it though. It's I think I always like knew you guys liked it. With Abby, she's kind of skeptical, but she's starting. I think she was like such a denier, but now she's slowly moving toward liking it. But she's just still
Is
denying.
this just
so she
like
can
not
roast me.
her genre, or she's just?
Yeah, fantasy is not her genre. But this, would you guys even characterize this as fantasy?
To me, it doesn't feel like
I don't
it.
know. I'm not an English major.
Fair.
I'm like, I don't know what other category.
What are the options? Multiple choice, please.
Yeah, if you give me options, I'll tell you where it'll go.
It is. Yeah, it is weird because it feels like I don't know what to call it, but it feels like oversimplifying to just put it in a category because it covers so much ground. But
it is fantasy, but it
is,
feels
yeah.
like it transcends, the boundaries
But, like,
of fantasy a little bit.
What
yeah,
is Lord of the Rings?
It's fantasy.
that's pretty classic.
Right?
fantasy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
Well, I think the difference.
but
It is fantasy, I
but
guess.
fantasy for some people, like for me, I think I would be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because it's like worlds that like, who cares
keeping
about
it
these other
in
worlds?
the real world, so to speak, I think does help it feel like a little more accessible.
Yeah.
You're not like, I don't know. It just keeps it simple enough. It doesn't feel like as big of a leap. And there's less that you have to remember. But I don't know. She does a great job at slowly expanding the world so that in the first book, everything feels simpler.
Yeah.
And it's just small. And then each book reveals just a little more of the wizarding world and you learn just a little bit
I guess
more.
that's good.
But it never gets so extreme that it loses you. Like I think happened some other, I'm thinking of movie trilogies and stuff.
Yeah.
So this is, she does it so well.
But it has like the fantasy element. People are saying mystery. I think it's like an adventure story too.
Yeah.
It very much feels like that. Even this book feels like an adventure. It's a mystery as well, but you're like along the journey right now, especially.
Yeah,
'cause
it's like a
Harry,
combo.
Ron, and Hermione are like
See
on this
any
journey.
categories.
Yeah.
So it fits into all categories.
Yes. And on our calendar at work, I sent it to you guys already. But I thought it'd be funny. I wonder if anyone they'll probably get it quick.
Yeah.
But it's dad jokes. So
Abby actually said one
Yeah,
of these
that
on
was
the
so
pod.
funny.
Oh, really?
So when you sent
Yeah.
that, I was like, "This is perfect." Say it. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. This is the thing. All right, how does Harry Potter get rid of a rash? Any guesses? With quit itch.
Great delivery.
It's
Nice.
so good.
I thought that was good, but I was mad because I was like, no, it's got to be a snitchy. He snitches it or something. Like,
Like instead of
'Cause
itches.
yeah,
Okay,
everyone
nice.
at work
Itch.
looked at me and they're like, you didn't get that? I was like, oh, man, no. That's funny.
It's so funny.
It comes up like once a month almost.
Really?
A Harry Potter joke? Yeah, or every other month.
Yeah.
Because I think I've sent it to you guys
Yeah.
before.
And you guys will be surprised how Harry Potter just comes up in natural life.
Yeah, I see it everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm always taking pictures of it.
Yep.
It's either a bumper sticker or someone's tattoo
Mm-hmm.
or whatever else. Calendar.
This series is crazy too because you don't know what that
the
tattoo
thing I
that
see all the
everyone get
time.
is that you see all the time. You don't know what that
Symbol.
is yet.
I also got it as a gift.
Yeah. Yep. And you, which was insane.
Well, it's
That
weird
was-
because
that drove me crazy.
it feels like it's supposed to be like a bad thing or something.
No, it's not a bad thing.
No, I know people wouldn't get a
And I
tattoo
know
of
it's
it
always
if it
with that
was,
word
but
that you're going to say, no, it's not, but it is. I don't
I'm
know
just
what it
confused
means.
what was being scratched on the wall at Durmstrang. That can't be.
Oh, you think? No.
Well, it said like a triangle thing. And isn't the thing a triangle thing with like
Wait.
something in the middle of
Dumbledore is both the people.
it? Well, yeah, see, we're going to find out more about Grindelwald, but that's why I'm like confused. I'm like, wait, did he actually? Or maybe Grindelwald really is evil and it all happened with Dumbledore like we think, but then the symbol is different?
Yeah, but that.
Or maybe they were
how
like
was that
opposing
described?
triangles.
Wasn't it an eye?
Well, we'll get to it in these chapters.
I know you.
But it was just enough where I'm like, wait, is that the thing? But I don't remember what it looks like. But I'm waiting for the symbol everyone gets tattooed to come up in these books.
yeah.
And this is the first thing that could be it. And I feel like it starts as a triangle. That's a good start. So,
What do they? How did they describe it?
I
Like,
thought it was
all
an
right, let me see if I
eye.
can. I think I
It-
drew it on the side.
Interesting.
Oh, because you think it's that. But me.
Well, I just like,
wrong.
I forget. I did it. Oh, here we go. Because, said Crumb, if he was not a guest of Floor's, we went too French and should have been north. I would duel him here and now for wearing that filthy sign upon his chest. The strange triangular eye was gleaming on his chest. So I just drew like a triangle, but a triangular eye.
Oh, I didn't
Wait,
catch
no,
that.
eye like on your head, like an eye, like you could see with it, like I don't know. So then I'm thinking
That's
of
not
the
what
thing
I
on the top of the
pictured.
pyramid. What's the all-seeing eye? Is it connected
yeah.
to that kind of thing, or are we supposed to think conspiracy? It's making some kind of connection, or like ancient things, like National Treasure, Knights Templar, etc. But it just feels weird because now Crumb thinks this symbol is evil, so this isn't the tattoo one. Or maybe this is opposed to the one people get tattooed.
Or maybe Crumb has it wrong.
Maybe everyone has it wrong.
yeah.
Always wrong.
What?
What are you trying to sneak words in that you think?
That wasn't really sneaking.
So yeah, that's one of the fun parts. Is
That is so
we'll
annoying,
talk about
though.
this.
Is it gonna click to me before I get to the part it's supposed to be though? Because I see these things. Does
No.
that make any sense?
Mm.
It doesn't make sense.
It's not going to click until
Okay.
it's actually like revealed what this is.
Okay, good.
Excellent.
Because that's even another thing. There are two things. You don't know what that symbol is, and then what is the title of this book again?
Deathly Hallows, which we don't know what it
You
is.
don't even know what the Deathly
The
Hallows are
Deathly
yet. And
Hallows.
we're like what, a fourth of the way through, maybe
Oh.
less.
No, I think less.
I'm like, no, it can't be
know.
a fourth. I'm thinking 18 to 20%.
Yeah, there you go.
But it is crazy because I feel like I already forgot everything in other books that would help. But you take notes, so never mind. You'd be good.
Yeah, but when we do the live reads, I'm not taking notes. Well, I mean,
Yeah, you
here I
are.
am, but like my character list, etc.
You're not going home and writing them down.
Nah, I'm not going back to do the
It's
notes.
true, you're not.
But I could, maybe should too.
We'll
But I
talk
don't
about this
know.
Mark II as we go on, but we want
So
to.
curious. There's
yeah.
more to it.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the podcast. I'm John.
Jen.
Danny.
Kristen.
Kristen.
Not here. Well, first on only podcast, so she's not here. This won't happen again, but
Maybe she could send you a voice memo.
I know. Yeah. Just,
Oh,
I'll
nice.
say Kristen.
Just
send
her
me-
saying, and Kristen.
and Kristen.
In spirit.
And this is Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. All right, go give us a rating and review. That'd be great. Always, that's like one of the best things you can do for podcasts. Go subscribe to us on YouTube. That's another thing that we're doing. We're starting to like do a lot more watching content of the movies and some other extra stuff that we're doing on our YouTube channel with we call them Tamale Talks. If you're a member, we do like interviews about your first time reading, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to incorporate a lot more of that as we go on. So go support us on YouTube. You can become a member on YouTube and go support us on Patreon as well. We have those two channels. It's the best way to actually support us so we can keep doing this. And then on our subreddit, on r/first time readers, we have a post that is just our socials. That is our Instagram, Twitter, Patreon, YouTube, all the stuff that we have that is necessary to like know what we're doing and what's going on, our Discord, all that kind of stuff. It's in that little post. So go check it out. This podcast is long, so I'm not going to keep this one long, but enjoy these chapters 8 and 9 of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Okay, we are on chapter 8, the wedding. Can you give me a summary of chapter 8?
Jen, you want to do it?
No.
All right.
That was so
Like,
quick.
yeah, you like knew I was going to ask. I didn't write the summary, but the name says it all. It's the wedding.
I don't remember.
So the wedding,
Oh, yeah.
I think, got juicy in particular because Harry kept overhearing things. So Aunt Muriel, who's 107 years old, the Weasley's aunt, she was kind of spilling the beans when Harry was going over to talk to
Yeah.
Elphius Doge. And she was just talking about Dumbledore's past and juicy stuff. And then, I don't know, I think by the end, Harry finds out Dumbledore lives in Godric's Hollow, lived growing up in Godric's Hollow. And so this is a chapter of a little bit of romance and a little bit of, camaraderie, but then worry. Harry's in Polyjuice the whole time. And then the chapter ends when Kingsley's Patronus comes with the message that the Ministry has fallen, Scrimgeour is dead, they are coming.
Yep.
So, pretty intense chapter ending. But most
Yeah.
of the chapter, I feel like I felt a certain amount of tension, like stuff could go wrong at any time.
Yeah.
But thankfully it didn't
Yes.
till the very end.
This is definitely one of those chapters where you're just so tense. And I love that Hermione was so tense that she like literally packed everything with them. She just felt like she knew something was going to go wrong. But yeah, one of the opening lines of this chapter. What did he do? Ay.
Put his paw right in my teeth.
That would be gross. It says Harry had taken a large dose of Polyjuice potion and was now the double of a redhead muggle boy from the local village of Ottery St. Catchpole, from whom Fred had stolen hairs using a summoning charm. So how do you feel about the identity theft that's going on in this chapter?
Pretty funny.
I missed that too.
I love that Fred and George in my mental image, they're around looking for a redhead boy in the village. And they find one.
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
go like Accio hairs on his head or whatever, however they'd Accio
That
that.
is creepy though. You can be anyone.
I know.
Very creepy.
Yeah.
It's
like
weird.
any time. I feel like there should be some kind of spell or potion that just like reveals
Yep.
it for a
Ooh.
second and then back. Like you
Interesting.
can meet
'Cause how do you
someone and
trust
be
people?
like, I don't know.
Touch your wand to their nose or something like that, and it
You
reveals
just
their
say
true
it. Like you
identity.
could whisper it and it'll reveal to you who their real face is and then it goes away. But they won't know.
Oh, they won't know. That's intense. That's cool. I wonder if Moody's eye did that. Did it? Because Moody could kind of see through the invisibility cloak.
Yeah.
I wonder if he had any of that. Oh man, but even when he saw through the invisibility cloak, that was
Or
Crouch
maybe they
Jr.
could know.
stealing his eye, and it still did
Yes.
that. So there are magical technology items that can see through some stuff. I wonder about Polyjuice, though.
Polyjuice is a fascinating one. I don't know about that. If his eye could actually see the true identity of the person, I don't think so. I think it could just see through objects. Which is
But like,
equally
what
as
if that
creepy.
just became the norm, right? You just say hi to someone and that's what you do. Then Polyjuice wouldn't exist anymore, probably.
That's true. That's a great point. You say you have to like drink something. You say like hi, and rather than handshakes, you exchange these little drinks. And you have to drink it. Yeah, little shots every single time you meet.
I think that's more dangerous, John. Don't know what's in it.
Yep. You accidentally poison one. Drinks it.
That's intriguing. It's an intriguing idea.
Do you think that Polyjuice is going to come up the rest of this book?
I don't know how much they have left in their little vial, but the fact that they've got like a whole thing of it from Moody, if they still have that, yeah, it's going to come up. Otherwise, I feel like she would have closed that door a little more and been like, and they used the last drop of their Polyjuice on whatever.
I feel like they could be a Death Eater would come in handy. Or
they should have grabbed some hairs of those big dudes.
They didn't?
Maybe they did.
I feel like
that's
Hermione
a good idea, though,
would've.
Jen. They should have, though.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
Because what a perfect opportunity.
I know, I'm smart.
Why would that be a perfect opportunity for what?
Well, at least just if they ever wanted to be a Death Eater, they could do it from the hairs of these people. They don't know enough about them to play like an accurate portrayal of them if they were ever trying to like sneak into getting close to Voldemort. But like, again, I'm looking at this book and thinking by the end of this book, they have to try and kill Voldemort.
Yeah.
And they don't have a plan, but being able to look like a Death Eater,
Yeah, I know.
a familiar Death Eater, can't be a bad thing.
I feel like it's
keep a couple hairs
it's like
around.
hiding like that.
Yeah, that's kind of true.
I mean, yeah, just like keep
Hiding
a few
in plain
hairs
sight.
of a few different people
Or
in a little
they could
roll.
just
Just be like,
hide as
who do I want to be
muggles
today?
too, no?
Yeah, just keep a couple hairs around. If people are closing in on you, you have a couple
Reminds us
muggle
to make
hairs.
sure there's
you
no
got a couple
cats.
Death Eater hairs. Yeah. But
What?
even if,
No cats.
Yeah, no cats.
oh yeah, because they'd be half human, half cat. Because if you went full cat, that wouldn't be bad. But none of them pay close enough
They
attention.
haven't
in
done that yet.
Transfiguration.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They should have become anime guy.
that would be pretty cool.
That would have been, if like there was a half of a book devoted to them becoming anime guy, that would have been great. It would have been solved a lot of their problems.
Yeah, but then you wouldn't have the book
I know exactly.
that you love so much.
No, it would just change. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wonder how.
But then can Voldemort see through Polyjuice? Or he just reads your mind and he's like, hey, you're not that person because I could see your mind. And your
true.
memories. Oh, you could see the memories. And then if you don't look like that, it ain't you.
Yeah, that's actually fascinating.
Yeah, if you're a good Legilimens, I feel like Polyjuice wouldn't do that very much.
Because you would do memories, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Snape was showing.
Especially if one of those big
Ooh.
Death Eaters, like the tall guy, he
Wow.
seems a little oafy. So Voldemort, when he's meeting with his Death Eaters, I feel like he just looks in their minds real quick. And maybe that'd be like a thing. If you're going to see Voldemort, you have to open your mind and let him in as like a security thing and be
have
like,
to
all
let
right,
him in."
fine, search me, give me a pat down.
That would
and
be
that's
such
why-
a great way to turn on him. If he couldn't do that.
That is a fascinating question I've never thought of before.
What?
And I just typed it in. There's a Reddit post 9 years ago that asked that question.
Really?
That's really interesting.
You're welcome.
I know. I kind of love that. But there has to be something. Like maybe you're just not using legilimency all the time on people, because Dumbledore is an accomplished legilimens, but he didn't see through Crouch Jr. So maybe there's something behind that.
I
That's
know,
so
but I feel like
fascinating.
Voldemort uses darker magic, so maybe
Yeah.
he could tap into that.
Yeah. Like
Right.
It's like a boundary that you don't cross, when, especially
Yep.
if you respected someone.
Like Moody.
But
Yep.
Voldemort doesn't trust anyone.
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Dumbledore
So he's going to be
does.
checking everyone out, and Dumbledore's
So-
like more welcoming to people and just saying, I'm not going to invade your privacy.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like you could search anyone's
That's
room
probably
while they're
also-
away, but it's still rude. You're not just going to go search through someone's stuff.
Yeah.
But anyone could.
Yep.
So Dumbledore is saying that your mind is private. That's your space. I'm not going to invade,
Yeah.
even though I could.
That's a great point, because then that makes sense of why Snape caught him so off guard. because he wasn't really searching through Snape's mind
Yep.
because he kept saying I trust him. So
He
that's like
trusts him,
Dumbledore's
yes.
greatest thing, but it's also his greatest flaw.
We don't even really know why he trusted him,
I know, yeah.
right?
Yep, no.
Or did I forget?
No.
It wasn't revealed.
Nope.
It just keeps saying he trusts Severus Snape. For
And
some reason.
we're just left thinking, at least I'm left thinking, everything that went down had to go down in order for Harry to like do something or learn something or to fulfill some prophecy or something else. Dumbledore needed to die, and maybe even needed to die by a betrayal. Because the same way like Harry's mom's love protects him because she died to save him.
Ancient magic, you mean?
There could be some ancient magic
There it is. Everyone
connection.
take a
Everyone take a drink. There could be some connection to being betrayed, like does something good for Harry or against Snape. So because Snape betrayed, he gets some kind of curse. That like might have sealed the deal on some deep magic that Dumbledore had as
he
a
gets
shield.
a consequence.
You know, because maybe that's one of those things. Then like when it comes down to some final battle, like Harry would have been able to defeat Voldemort, except Snape gets in the way. So then Dumbledore sees this prophecy about that and puts a plan in place to let it be like something. But the only weird part about that is that Dumbledore begged Snape not to. I think that's the part that throws it off because it feels like it's still Dumbledore didn't want it. I don't know. Or maybe that just completed the betrayal and brought it to the next level. And he already knew it was going to go down that way. But he, like I theorized another time, he wanted this to eat Snape up.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
which is an
implant
interesting
this
theory.
guilt.
Yeah.
Maybe. But
Which I mean, like again, this series is all about like magic, but it's also like the deeper magic of implanting guilt in someone and how that can eat away at your brain.
Yep.
Like there's there's some kind of weird magic mysticism behind that.
Yep.
That's interesting. You guys are coming up with crazy theories here.
Maybe even like the fact that Snape went to Voldemort and he didn't kill him right away. I'm like, he had to read his mind
Yeah.
to see if it's true.
Yep.
Let's go to the basics, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, you're right.
On a more lighthearted note, this is a funny little thing. When I get married, said Fred, tugging at the collar of his own robes, I won't be bothering with any of this nonsense. You all can wear whatever you like, and I'll put on a full body bind curse on Mom until it's all over.
Oh my gosh.
Who do you think Fred and George are gonna marry? Because they're talking about these going after Vila, going after like these women in the town.
They could get anyone they want. Wait, who is that
The
cute
Vilas
girl in
would be
town?
funny.
They like
Yeah.
a Muggle girl. I like that.
Yeah.
I feel like one of them should end up with a Muggle girl.
Yeah, that'd be kind of sweet, right?
Only because they're a big wizarding family, and I feel like they've got to like let's end all this weird stuff. And
Yeah.
like being a wizard is cool and all.
Isn't Ron
but-
starting to do that?
a Muggle born.
Muggle born, that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
I'm saying an actual Muggle though.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, and like
I can't see that working.
wow, interesting.
That was the starting of Ilvermorny, the school in America for witchcraft and
Oh,
wizardry,
right.
was started by a witch and a Muggle.
Huh.
So
I
that's
can
pretty
see it
cool.
reverse.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's fine.
You're my muggle.
I respect. I don't think I can say you're my witch. That doesn't sound like endearing, but
No.
who else in the story would Fred or George be like good with? Is there anyone else?
I don't know. Those girls that they were in school with, I felt like were good. No?
You need someone with one ear. George needs someone with one ear.
The
Complete
other
them.
ear.
Yeah.
We put them together.
Or 3 ears. Yeah.
Wow. Wait,
I just feel like they're so into their magic and their joke shop
Yeah.
thing, which is that they
Okay, yeah.
couldn't really have like a muggle understand it.
Mm.
I don't know.
It's possible. Yeah, you're right. And I mean, Katie Bell, Angelina.
Yeah, one of them. Someone on chat said one of them marry Lee Jordan and the other marry Angelina.
It's the perfect combo.
I know. It's fun, like theorizing about this kind of stuff because they're just two catches. They're like too fun. They're like even Ron says they're gonna make like they're making so much money. They're such good businessmen. Like they're rich. They're funny. Like those are the only two things you really need. Right now.
They're
They got great personalities.
tall.
Yeah, they're tall.
They have red
got it
hair.
all.
They're gingers.
Yeah, they. Oh man,
They're
I can't
pure
think of anyone that'd be
bloods.
great.
Whoa,
Ooh,
whoa,
whoa.
We don't have that pure blood mania on this podcast.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone else good.
This is the more serious discussion for this chapter, though.
A mermaid. Sorry.
They're gonna marry a mermaid. I
Yeah.
feel like they would marry some weird creature, you know.
And they make some
Centaur.
crazy invention of like feet for her,
I was
so she
thinking
can
of.
flop
I
around
just
on
saw.
this thing.
I just
Yeah.
saw
It's like a
Aquaman
wheelchair
like
for,
advertisement. So that would be interesting.
I don't know what's that mean.
Aquaman
No, I know that. I mean, what?
advertisement.
Like, oh, that brought it to mind because
Yeah.
is he a merman?
I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. Or
Oh,
he's
alright. Yeah,
no,
yeah.
he's like, isn't he Poseidon or something like
I
that?
have no
the
idea.
god of the sea.
But he doesn't have fins. I don't think.
Yeah,
He just kicks
yeah.
or.
Kicks enemy butt. Yeah,
That's like Pirates of the
Anyway.
Caribbean when a
Anyway.
mermaid can come on shore once a year or something like that.
Oh man. Yeah.
Hmm.
So that could be cool. What were you saying?
This is the serious part of it. An odd symbol, rather like a triangular eye, glistened from a golden chain around his neck. Later on in the chapter, it says, "Sign," said Harry, looking over Xenophilius too. The strange triangular eye was gleaming on his chest. Why? What's wrong with it? Grindelwald. That is Grindelwald's sign. Grindelwald, a dark wizard, Dumbledore defeated. Exactly. Crumb's jaw muscles worked as if he were chewing. Then he said, Grindelwald killed many people. My grandfather, for instance. Yikes. Of course, he was never powerful in this country. They said he feared Dumbledore, and rightly, seeing how he was finished. But this, he pointed a finger at Xenophilius. This is his symbol. I recognized it at once. Grindelwald carved it into a Vol at Durmstrang, and when he was a pupil there. Some idiots copied it onto their books and clothes, thinking to make themselves impressive, until those of us who had lost family members to Grindelwald taught them better. Crumb cracked his knuckles menacingly and glowered at Xenophilius. Harry felt perplexed. It seemed incredibly unlikely that Luna's father was a supporter of the dark arts, and nobody else in the tent seemed to have recognized the triangular rune-like shape. So he even mentions it's like a rune-like shape. Is it a rune?
No, it sounds more like it.
Yeah. But so again, what is this symbol? Does Crumb have it right? Do you trust that this is the actual mark of Grindelwald?
Yes,
I don't know.
I do. I trust that it's the mark of Grindelwald. But I think there's more to Grindelwald that we don't get. I think Dumbledore's in on it too. But I'm not sure because it is weird. But I think maybe just that feels like a little more exciting, the possibility that there's something deeper with Grindelwald, and that the reason Dumbledore didn't tell the whole story with his defeat of Grindelwald is because he couldn't tell the whole story without giving away something else. Could he have known about Harry that far back? Could he have known about Voldemort? I don't know, but there could have been a reason for keeping something a secret. Could Grindelwald really be good though? That it feels like a stretch, but it's possible, and it's exciting to think that there's more to that story, only because of how offhanded it's been this whole time, of just something on his chocolate frog card from book 1, and now to have that come full circle and impact the ending of the book, or like something worth potentially tattooing on yourself. So I just think it's a cool idea. But it also could just be a miscommunication, like Grindelwald's symbol looks similar, but Dumbledore made another one to oppose it and be good. But I don't know. I think the most likely to me is that there was a misunderstanding. What people think about everything with Grindelwald is not true, like Rita Skeeter said. Or even, was that actually Muriel who said that? Like there's more to that story, or it wasn't so simple. Yeah, I think, Rita said
that.
So I'm like, maybe. But maybe that's a good thing. It's not more to the story because Dumbledore did a bad thing. It's more to the story because Dumbledore did even better than we realize. Maybe Grindelwald was under an Imperius the whole time and did bad things, but has a good soul and like other stuff that Dumbledore was able to do. But I just don't know what. It's hard to connect the person I thought of as being Hitler with now. I'm like, all right, my World War II comparison maybe is not so true anymore. But, it's intriguing.
Do you think that Xenophilius knows what he's wearing, or does he have a different meaning behind it, or something like that?
I do think he knows.
Because that was a weird line that it said at the very end of this. It seemed incredibly unlikely that Luna's father was a supporter of the dark arts, and nobody else in that tent seemed to have recognized the triangular rune-like shape. So is Xenophilius maybe a supporter of the dark arts, or is maybe Grindelwald good, or is this something completely different in Xenophilius' eyes? Maybe he just, for Xenophilius, did he see it and he was just like, that looks cool, and then he wore it?
I don't know.
It seems like the kind of thing he would do, but
he knows a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I think he knows more than the public knows. Or, like, I feel like he has, like, these secret little... What am I trying to say? Like, things that he's
like little tidbits of information.
Yep.
Yeah.
He would do well at trivia.
Because even Luna comes up with these, like, creatures. Or my dad, like, found out about this. It's in his paper and stuff. And no one... Even Hermione doesn't know what... they are. Being
an editor at a newspaper like that, he would be exposed to a lot. And what I wrote when he originally came in is, how old is he? He's got hair like cotton candy or candy floss and like long white hair. I don't know. It just feels something about him to me. Oh, wow, that's funny. It even mentions the symbol, an odd symbol, rather like a triangular eye, glistened from a golden chain around his neck. Wait, golden chain around his neck? That's weird.
What?
Because I thought he was saying it was on his... gleaming on his chest. Interesting, because when Crumb was talking about it, gleaming on his chest, I took that to mean...
a pin?
No, on his robe itself. Like it was embroidered in or something. And then I'm now reading it from the beginning about his age, that it was a golden chain. And again, that feels weird because a golden chain is a little...
He's like wearing bling.
Yeah, how blingy is this? A big old gold chain with a thing that Crumb from across the room could see. Like, boom!
Yeah, but it's not that big. It's like if someone's
underground
wearing,
rap
like,
scene in London.
And Xenophilius is part of it. Xenophilius is actually a pretty dope rap name too.
Yeah, respect.
My name is Xenophilius Lovegood.
That is I respect that.
What's his nickname?
He must know.
His nickname?
XL.
XL?
Yeah. The big man. The big man in
XL,
London.
Yeah.
That actually works for what he does too.
Yeah, he must know what it means. And this is where, in my mind, I mean, it all went crazy anyway, but Harry should just ask him. Hey, XL, you know, that symbol's causing a bit of a stir. There's some negative stuff associated with that, according to Crumb. Can you explain the symbol to me?
Because Harry does that every
really
time,
cool
right?
bling on your chest. Can you explain it to me? Like, you could just simply ask or compliment it, see if it leads to something.
Because Harry always does that.
No, of course
he
never
always
does.
chooses to do that.
He just goes away.
I'm subbing in for Kristen.
Whenever I'm hard on Harry, it's like you got to defend him. It's good. You got to balance it out.
Yeah.
Because it's true. He's not going to ask, and maybe it's a respect thing, or he just doesn't feel comfortable.
He's never
wish he
asked any questions that give information that help us as a reader.
I know.
No, he does eventually, but Dumbledore keeps shutting him down. So maybe Harry's kind of learned, like,
but still,
I never get
in this
answers.
one, after the end of the chapter, he's like, why didn't I ask Dumbledore any of this?
You're right. He's literally thinking that this whole time. And it's like, well, now's your chance to collect
All
information.
right, but that one time, he did try to find out what happened to his hand.
And Dumbledore shut him down. But
he was guarding him from something.
I think not only could Xenophilius know what it is, he could have been involved with it in his youth. We don't know where he went to school or anything. We just assume it's the same as Luna Hogwarts. But
is it like an order?
Like an order of something? Yeah, it totally could be. But what would it be? An order of evil? Or
Why do
you're
we think
saying-
it's evil? I don't get it. So
could it
we
be-
assume it's evil because he dueled with Dumbledore.
Yeah.
That's what I'm not following.
We
Well, I don't know anything about him because
yeah,
whatever
we assume he's evil.
we're assuming, I don't remember.
Because he's always been evil. You know what I mean? Like,
But what-
Dumbledore defeated him in 1945.
It's defeated him or dueled with him.
The
Are
words
they the
make
same?
a difference. The chocolate frog cards,
That's what because like
according to Elpheus, are not so reliable.
because dueled could be like who's more powerful.
I think it said
But-
defeated.
Okay.
Yeah, he's known for his defeat of the Dark Lord Grindelwald. It was a legendary duel, but he was the one that defeated Grindelwald.
And then Rita is saying it wasn't all that.
Yeah.
That there
Grindelwald
was
just
a
shot
white
at a white-
flag, actually, which would have led to Dumbledore being able to actually talk with him. But it also was implied by Rita maybe that the duel happened hidden away somewhere. And then the story came out afterwards. So it was one of those things where I'm just imagining Grindelwald and Dumbledore somewhere having this duel up in a mountain or down in a cave or in a hidden room of some castle or whatever it was. And then they come out and we don't even know what happened to Grindelwald. Did he die on the spot? Was that part of something? Has he been in Azkaban this whole time? Is he still around?
Yeah.
Or did he
So he's in
polyjuice
charge
and do other
of
things?
the dark arts, and he's a wand maker. Is that the same person?
Wait, who are you talking about now?
Gregorovitch versus Grindelwald.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is a great
that's
point.
why
No,
I'm
good
getting
catch, good
confused.
catch.
No, because
Yeah,
both
that's
of
an
them, Harry
important
did get
distinction.
confused there because they're having the discussion about Grindelwald when all of a sudden Crumb raises his wand and Harry goes Gregorovitch because that's the one who made his wand.
For a second, I thought they were the same person. That's why I was having a hard time.
I know they're like almost the same, but
Okay,
two different people.
Yeah.
got it. Sorry to interrupt your back and
No, that's a good distinction because
Yeah.
just to make sure that it's keeping those things straight.
Do you think that that Voldemort is after Gregorovitch, the wand maker, just to get information from him? Like, what
Yeah.
is this? Is he trying to figure out
'Cause that's what he tried to do from Ollivander.
Yeah. So does Gregorovitch know something that Ollivander doesn't?
Maybe he was more familiar with the dark arts because he worked with the other G.
Wow, you think he maybe made Grindelwald's wand or something? That'd be pretty
And that
intense. Oh, but that
they
would make
went
sense,
to
though.
against
Shoot.
Dumbledore, right?
Well, it would make sense because they're from the same area of the world, in theory. If Crumb is getting his wand from Gregorovitch and he also goes to Durmstrang, it would make sense that like there's some
But-
kind of
And
connection.
then and then Dumbledore's wand was from Ollivander, probably, right?
Probably. Yeah.
So the duel then maybe I don't know. I know that they have this weird wand thing, so I'm trying to
Yeah.
find some kind of connection.
That is a really good question of where
Between
their
the
wands come
wands.
from. I just don't think you know. And it's like,
Dumbledore made his own.
yeah.
And it's from Fox's feathers, and it's the third one. And then he stole the other guy's wand.
Ooh, wow.
did?
Wait, who's the other guy? Grindelwald?
I keep messing them up.
Dumbledore steals Grindelwald's
Yeah.
after the battle.
Or he hides it. Or he buries, like, does something to it. Where is he?
We don't even know where Dumbledore's wand is. We just are like, yeah, maybe he got
That's
buried
what I
with
don't
it.
understand. He's the most powerful.
Yeah, shouldn't it be in a museum?
No, I think Harry should have it.
Harry gets
But
it.
then you guys all
The
said
wand
that
chooses
the
the
wand
wizard.
doesn't work as well with
Well, that's
a
just
new
theory, but-
person.
No, I mean, I think Danny's
That's
saying
Danny's
that.
theory.
Yeah. But could the powers be like,
Oh no, but then he's also gotten flips up, and that he said like it gets the wisdom of the
Yeah,
person
passed
and
the
then
down.
previous potentially. Well, only because Neville got another wand,
Yeah.
right? Wait, where did his wand come from?
Didn't
Was it his
break?
parents'
I thought it
wand?
was his parents. wand.
he was originally
Didn't it
using his parents' wand and it broke in the order or the Ministry of Magic. And then he got a new wand and the new wand worked a little bit better for him.
Because it chose him,
Yeah.
unlike the one that was a
Yeah.
hand-me-down.
So, and then Ron had a hand-me-down as well.
Yeah, right.
So maybe there's a difference between hand-me-downs versus like,
defeating a wand in battle.
yeah, maybe.
Well,
Can
only
you
because
take apart
Voldemort-
a wand? You wouldn't do
Ooh.
that though. would you?
That's
Break
actually
it down and
I think about that. This is a weird thing that I think about all the time. How do they get the core in the wand?
Oh no.
and
They have
could
like
it
a
be
little-
taken out?
Yeah, a little like screw point or something like that. It's like non-invasive surgery. They just have a little thing, and they just over the
That is
course of like a
kinda
few
weird.
days, he like wheedles this
I
phoenix feather in there.
guess.
Or does the tree
Such a
have to
light
grow
thing.
around it?
They're all light.
Yeah, they're all light.
Maybe Ollivander has his own little like garden where all these wands are being grown. So when you plant the tree, you have to have the phoenix feather in the tree, so it like grows
Doesn't
around
make
it.
any sense, but yeah.
It's like little bonsais. They
Yeah.
have to be like shaped as they grow and train.
I wouldn't know that.
Someone said they put the core in with ancient magic.
That's valid. Well done, person.
Exactly.
But yeah, the whole discussion between Grindelwald and Gregorovich is really interesting. What the mark is and why Voldemort is really after Gregorovich. And like everything seems like it's in the north. So like Crumb seems like he's not really like an important part of this, but he seems like he has information here.
And he's not dark.
Yeah, he's not dark. Exactly.
That
yeah.
was kind of a good
Yeah.
thing to know.
Like he
'Cause
is
we weren't
he's out.
sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
And he's out trying to fight people who are dark. Like these
Yeah.
yeah, which is a really fascinating point. Like it's like family generational trauma versus like his grandparents died from this guy, so he wants nothing to do with this evil and this vile. It's a great
Wait, how
point.
come? So we don't know if he's dead or alive. Is that what this is?
Who?
We don't know if Gregorovich or Grindelwald, but Grindelwald primarily because he was the one from 1945. And
Okay,
he's the one who has some answers now.
I have to think of Switzerland.
And I keep doing the same thing. And for some reason, I'm thinking that means Dumbledore fought him in Switzerland. So I just keep picturing them in the mountains of Switzerland having some big old battle.
That'd be
Since we
so
went to
cool.
Grindelwald.
That'd be so epic.
Gosh,
Oh
that's
my
funny.
But that's also probably a Lord of the Rings thing that I'm.
Gregorovich. Is
Yeah, the Balrog.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm picturing. Gnome saliva is enormously beneficial.
Yeah.
So, can saliva be harvested from gnomes and bottled? And what's it
Yeah.
beneficial for?
I mean, you have like acromantula venom. You have like basilisk venom. You can kind of capture some of that.
Seems
Like a good
interesting.
Horcrux thing. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, I wasn't. That'd be intense.
Yeah.
A bite from a gnome kills a Horcrux. What the? So then they have to like carry gnomes around in their pockets. You're like, yo, Gnomey, I need some help. It just feels
This
so
was the
weird,
hint
like-
that she put in the books that the
like,
gnome
what
saliva
the-
is extremely beneficial and kills Horcruxes. Imagine
That's
that.
really intense.
That would be awesome.
Speaking about Horcruxes too, really quick, there's another thing I just want to bring up for Danny because there's a little line in this
Boy.
where
Blood. They have something with blood.
Auntie Muriel goes, made an excuse, did he? Not as gormless as he looks in the press photographs. And I've been just instructing the bride on how best to wear my tiara. She shouted at Harry, goblin made, and been in my family's for centuries. She's a good-looking girl, but still French. Well, find me a good seat, Ronald. I'm 107, and I ought not to be on my feet too long.
That was actually something you kept bringing up.
I did bring it up, and this is our best bet for a Horcrux in the burrow that we know of.
But
It won't remain in the burrow long. We don't know where Floor's gonna.
But why
take
would
this
he
thing, or if
think
it
that
goes back
that's-
with Auntie Muriel?
But why would it be important to him?
No. I'm not saying just to him. I'm saying to the wizarding world. All we know is it's ancient, it's goblin, and it's something that even a muggle would find significance in. So to me, that's like a triple whammy for something Voldemort would like. But I don't think if this was it, I don't think Muriel or anyone else understands the significance of it. So what this would mean is that accidentally someone in the Weasley past or Muriel's past came across a thing, this tiara, but could it belong to any of the other founders of Hogwarts or something else? Maybe.
Yeah.
Also, is it possible that the journal was not a Horcrux? Because one of these things is not like the others. And the journal just doesn't, something about it, it feels like it could
'cause
be
was
similar.
His first one. No.
Right, but it's so first that I'm like, did he kill someone to make it? Or
He's
is that
killed
just
a
a
bunch of
different
people.
thing? Because it feels just a little weird. Like, it didn't even like necessarily click. And just as I'm saying it now, though, everything else feels more important
The
than his
other
journal.
thing
Okay.
is that then they're screwed.
Yeah,
Because
if
there
that's
was
not
even
one
more
now.
out there. You're
Because
right.
So-
then there's always one that they don't know.
I want to. I have to. I want to clarify because we had a discussion on Horcruxes last podcast, and I just wanted it because I got kind of leaped on in chat for this for a second.
Oh yeah, nice.
And
Set the record straight.
I want to just clarify exactly what a Horcrux is because I think there's been a lot of confusion about this, and the better way to explain it is that what a Horcrux does is it tethers your soul to this earth. So it's like I guess like an anchor point, like it leaves your soul bound to this earth. So if Voldemort has 7 of them, you have to destroy all 7 before the last person can be destroyed. But they don't actually resurrect you. The Horcruxes just tether your soul. You have to be resurrected by some other ancient magical power. Which is like the 4th book, he got this like little stew made,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
then in the second one, he's trying to like take over the body of another person and come back that way. But the Horcrux itself just tethers his soul. But that being said, the reason I got confused over that is because, and like I'll this isn't like a crazy spoiler. You're theorizing about this, but Dumbledore is very convinced that the second one or that the diary was a Horcrux.
Yeah, it's true.
And the diary is just a different version. It's like an anomaly Horcrux. It just doesn't fit in with some of the other Horcruxes.
Yeah.
Like it's less like an object and more like these memories are stored. And like it felt like Voldemort was coming back through the diary in weird ways. But Dumbledore was convinced that the diary was a Horcrux. And again, one of the big questions in this chapter is, do we actually trust Dumbledore? Like, was he right on the diary? Was he right on the ring? Is Dumbledore himself like holding Horcruxes somewhere?
Yeah, oof, that's a weird one.
Yeah.
And can the Sword of Gryffindor destroy Horcruxes? Or is it one?
Yeah.
And it's one of those weird things that we just still are so in the dark about it. And we want Harry to find an expert. And that's where I'm really hoping
Wait,
RAB can be the
I don't
expert.
think.
What?
Sorry, I'm
No, go for it. You don't think what?
That the sword could be a Horcrux.
It could be. Why not?
Only unless he's leaving it up to like it being. So it's was or is in the Hogwarts or in Dumbledore's office with no protection. Everything else has had protection.
Yeah,
And the
like
diary
leaving it
was
under their nose
even
would
in
be-
a Death Eater's
Yeah.
possession.
Which-
So that's what makes me think that it's not.
Great question. Which is
Yeah.
my question as well for Danny for the tiara. If the tiara is actually a Horcrux, would Floor be going absolutely
Then
mental right
Aunt
now?
Muriel is a Death Eater.
Yeah. Danny's not saying the tiara isn't a Horcrux. He's going even further. He's doubling down on that. Auntie Muriel's a Death Eater.
And she's always kissing everyone because she's part Dementor too. And she's trying to suck
You're
people's
nuts.
souls.
This is gonna be my new headcanon. This is a great theory. I love
It's
this.
You're nuts.
it's just either way, maybe it's because I've played video games or Skyrim or something, but it's like then the jewelry then it's a tiara. Could it have power or something? Even if it wasn't, it could just be something that is helpful to wear. Could it be a strengthening thing? So even if it isn't a Horcrux, I'm like, it could have some magic to it. The same way that I hope the Sword of Gryffindor has some kind of special power. Could there be a spell of protection on the wearer? It becomes like armor, kind of like the way the Weasleys were making armor for the Ministry. So I don't know. I just wish they could do a little more digging because I'm just intrigued by treasure. So
Yeah.
in my mind, I'm like, worst case scenario or maybe best case, it's a Horcrux and you just found one. But on the opposite end, it's a cool tiara. Do some investigation, ask some questions, figure it out, But
Yeah,
what would
deep
Voldemort's
dive.
plan be with any of this? The Sword of Gryffindor, was that in the office or was that something that was given to Harry in his moment of need because he's a Gryffindor? And so Voldemort didn't expect that to ever happen. And he thought it was well hidden. And then it just came to Harry and it was like actually like a mistake, Or was the sword around
No.
earlier in book one?
Because he literally said in the will, it said that yeah, you're not getting that. That's staying at
Mm.
Hogwarts because
Yep.
it's not it wasn't Dumbledore's to give.
To give, yeah.
Was
And then-
Dumbledore that nearest? Like, did he really think that he would be able to give away the sword? That seems strange. That Dumbledore knows all this. He knows like the sword exists,
Right.
and he still tried to give it away.
I
to
feel
Harry.
like it was part of a riddle in the will.
Agreed.
Interesting.
The will feels like a riddle.
And that was
but
why it was a bummer that
vague.
he didn't read the will part for the sword.
Yep.
You're like, maybe they'll get this again sometime. But
And
he's
maybe
dead.
they can still put the rest of it together to get more of the riddle. Is the
Why
will written
can't they
somewhere?
read it themselves? Like, let me see it. I want to read it.
Yeah, who's
'Cause-
the executor of this
And
will?
he could have been making stuff up.
Yeah, and holding things back. Was there more
Agreed.
to it? But Dumbledore, no,
Dum-
maybe he wouldn't have known because maybe everything just got thrown off and Dumbledore had this plan,
What did it
but
say
the
on
plan
this?
was for like years away
I
or
feel like
something.
a will should be a howler. You know, it's like
a good
required to
idea.
say something.
That is
Where
good.
like it gathers people or it goes to different people.
What
even.
did the snitch say again?
I open at the close.
I open at the close. Okay. I forgot about that. Being,
So many mysteries in this book right now. Oh my gosh. Someone wants to know, what does Auntie Muriel's apparition sound like?
Cover your ears. You don't want to know.
A little
Well, yeah.
flabby.
Way.
You know,
I
the
feel like
noise,
Kristen was good at them.
You know, like when you slapped a pool noodle on water in the
Oh,
pool?
yeah.
That's Auntie Muriel's apparating sound.
Yup.
I would have
belly
thought
flap.
a little more resonating. Like,
Oh, lots of
A little more echoey.
reverberations. There was like
Yeah,
a
that's it.
concussion.
There's, like,
when
folds
she
in
gets
it.
somewhere, you like feel it. Oh.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we asked, does Grigorovich know the secrets of wand lore that Ollivander doesn't? We kind of talked about that for a little bit, but does he know stuff that Ollivander doesn't? Everyone seems to think, in this book at least, because we're from the England, that Ollivander is a better wand maker, but does Grigorovich know deeper secrets than Ollivander? Even though Crumb says he's a better wand maker.
well,
So the whole idea of wands is really fascinating in this book.
Hmm.
You just don't know.
and what's her name from the wizarding tournament? Whatever. What's her name?
Floor?
Was her own Floors? Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
was not.
Well, she used the
Grigorovich.
core. The core was her grandma's hair, so she probably like brought in the core to a some kind of wand maker, maybe in France somewhere, and then he fashioned it or she fashioned it. But
Yeah, I'm trying to picture what that looks like.
I know, seriously, me too.
It's weird.
It is a fascinating thing. We'll just say ancient magic. They make it by ancient magic.
It braids the wood around it
Yeah.
and then seals it.
I feel like Floor's wand would be like a braided wand, like three twigs like braided together, and the Vila core is in the middle. You know,
That'd be cool.
yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Like a French braid.
Yeah,
Yeah, like a money tree.
Yeah.
You know the what they do to
yeah.
the.
One
Okay,
of my
why
favorite.
are we doing all these plant references? I cannot follow. Sorry, what were you
One of my
saying?
favorite descriptions in this chapter is the radiance with which she gives off. It describes her as the radiance that she's walking down the aisle. It doesn't deluminate everyone else. It makes everyone else
Oh yeah.
who are like radiance falls
I
upon
know, that was
even
What
more
a
interesting.
cool way to say that.
I know.
That was such a good line.
I know.
Even Bill.
Yeah.
No,
even
that's
Bill
her.
looked like he didn't get
Yeah.
bit by a werewolf.
Cool.
Great description.
Such a great
I
description.
know. Like to me, I feel like that's the purity. Like Vila, I feel like her seen as more of a negative thing in this, but I feel like that's the pure power of a Vila coming forward because she's like an 8th Vila or whatever like that. And it's like someone who's their beauty is not just something that is vain, but it's something that is like
They could
used
share.
to help other people.
I like that.
I don't know. I kind of like that. Okay.
So Fred and George need one.
I know.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna both get Vila twins, you know.
How few wizards realize just how much we can learn from the wise little gnomes.
You guys are stuck in the gnomes. So interesting. The gnomes are
What
really.
if I'm
They got a lot of
right?
page time. You
I
know,
know,
what I mean?
they did, yeah.
Tiaras get one little mention.
I know.
And the gnome. Ooh. All right. I didn't know Ginny's real name was Ginevra.
Me neither.
Respect.
I think it's Ginevra.
Ginevra? Oh yeah, I might have
So
missed
They
it.
Ginevra.
both are not that great.
What? Their
Ginevra.
names? Ginevra and Ginny.
I mean, they're okay.
Not, you know.
Well, we're gonna have a discussion about Dumbledore here. This is kind of how it kicks off. Well, in that interview Harry went on, Rita Skeeter hinted that Professor Dumbledore was involved in the dark arts when he was young. Don't believe a word of it, said Doge at once. Not a word, Harry. Let nothing tarnish your memories of Albus Dumbledore. And this is where we get into a lot of the Dumbledore stuff. Why did nobody ever see her, Alpheus? Squawked Muriel. Why did half of us never even know she existed until they carried the coffin out of the house and held a funeral for her? Where was saintly Albus while Ariana was locked in the cellar, off being brilliant at Hogwarts, and never mind that he was going on in it. Never mind what was going on in his own house. What do you mean, locked in the cellar? Asked Harry. What is this? Doge looked wretched. Auntie Muriel cackled again and answered Harry. Doge looked to be on the verge of tears. Auntie Muriel, who seemed to be enjoying herself hugely, snapped her fingers for more champagne. Numbly, Harry thought of how the Dursleys had once shut him up, locked him away, kept him out of sight, all for the crime of being a wizard. Had Dumbledore's sister suffered the same fate in reverse, imprisoned for her lack of magic, and had Dumbledore truly left her to her fate while he went off to Hogwarts to prove himself brilliant and talented? What do you think of Dumbledore now?
I feel like it's hard because I could see it being like that being true, and then that's why he cares so much more about people now. Like he's trying to make up for it.
Great point.
Or the Muggles, it's like, okay, my sister wasn't able to have power, so I want to tap into what that world is like.
Yeah, seriously.
Or the other way, where he always cared, and it was just a parent's like respect, right? You don't talk about it because it's not your place to say anything.
Yeah, I do still trust Dumbledore, but I'm not thinking of him as having some perfect upbringing or anything. This just makes him more of like a complex character where he can have made mistakes and done things wrong. It doesn't change the way I view him. It almost makes me respect it even more that like he's learned from his youth and growing up and experimented with dark things or had trouble and family issues and whatever. But I am curious. And it almost feels like conspiracy. It's like a little more than just issues or health problems. It's like nobody ever saw her locked in the cellar. Like where did that come from? And then is there a reason? So I'm very curious
why
about
was she
that.
so sick? It's like, was the mom poisoning her?
Yeah.
Was she born that way? Did she develop something? Did she get cursed by something and they couldn't figure it out? Because to me, I'm thinking if Dumbledore was like trying out dark magic, it wasn't to use it against someone, it was to help someone.
Huh.
Like, I wonder if dark magic, like in
Yeah.
what's the Star Wars, doesn't he do dark magic to like try to save the life of Padme?
Wow.
It's fair.
Wow, that's a great comparison.
Dark
Look at
magic.
Jenny, you're getting nerdy.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm trying to connect that to Voldemort and like the current story with the past. And now I'm curious if she was a squib, could there be magic to make her magic? But the downside is it makes her sick too. And is that something that Dumbledore thought was a good thing and then maybe connects him and the same emotions that Voldemort has? Would Voldemort ever want to do that to people now, turn them into magic? Or would it be the opposite of like if you're Muggle born or if certain things like Voldemort wouldn't like it, he would take the magic away? And maybe Ariana thought that magic was more of a curse and didn't want to be magic. And Dumbledore was trying to take it away as like if that's what you want, I'll try to remove the magic, but it made her sick. Or I don't know. I'm just trying to think of ways that Dumbledore could be at fault for her death. Because it did say he blamed himself, right?
Yeah.
So how would Dumbledore be to blame?
Well,
For her
also
sickness,
it could
her
be
death, or
as
anything
simple
else?
as like he was like the smartest wizard to be coming up into adulthood, or like so
Mm.
if
So it was
Dumbledore couldn't
up to
figure
him.
it out, no one could.
Hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
It
Or
could
I
be
wonder.
as simple as that, or it could be like what you're saying.
And it could also be he's known for like a lot of different things, but like the 12 uses of dragon blood. Maybe he was off doing research trying to figure out ways to heal her, and that's how he really gained his like renown, and he wasn't able to before she passed away or something like that.
Mm.
But maybe
Huh.
could it possibly, I don't know if I want to put this in your mind, be evil intentions? Is Dumbledore being really neglectful here? Did he leave the house because he hated his sister and he didn't want anything to do with her? Same with his brother. There was a fight at the funeral, apparently.
Yeah, maybe he was very arrogant, and it's like, I'm gonna make something of myself.
Maybe Dumbledore's so good because Ariana gave her magic to him, and that made her sick. But it's what she wanted. Maybe it's not what she wanted. Dumbledore took it forcefully. Maybe she. Oh, I don't know.
Why? I don't want tainting all these things.
No, maybe it was none of those things, and maybe Dumbledore has the purest of
No, I
motives
already am
this whole
pissed off
time.
at Snape, so like, no.
What? Why would Aberforth punch Dumbledore? So it's like even people
know,
in the
that's
know.
true.
It's one thing if Muriel
That's
or
his
people from the
brother.
outside don't know, but yeah,
Right?
if Dumbledore's own brother, we assume he knows the whole situation, still was, again, we assume mad, punches Dumbledore at the funeral. Why? Like,
You were supposed to save her. You were supposed to protect her.
yeah, could
Yeah.
be bitterness like that. And that's why Dumbledore blames himself, because he actually could have saved her or was about to, or like didn't quite get
Or
to
that
it.
was his job.
Maybe that's why he found the uses of the dragon heartstring or dragon blood.
Wait, what is? I missed.
That was on the chocolate frog card at the beginning too.
Because I have that memorized. Yeah.
Well, we it's we touch on it here and there, but it's like just because that's part of what made him so renowned.
But what was it?
That he found 12 uses for dragon. I'm gonna say
Dragon's blood.
But
But Rita Skeeter says she interviewed some guy who said that he already had 8 uses, and then Dumbledore stole his research.
but maybe he stole it so he could try and save his sister.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
Maybe.
Dragon's blood was the only thing that could potentially cure it because
Yeah.
of magical whatever. And maybe that's why Aberforth was mad, because he didn't do it in time. Or maybe Dumbledore wasn't willing to steal things, but Aberforth did. And then Aberforth was mad that Dumbledore wasn't willing to use stolen research to help. But, so it also could be something like that, where Dumbledore was being too like taking the high road, but it cost Ariana her life. But Aberforth was willing to do even dark things to, save her. I don't know. But either way, Harry's kind of in the dark, and everyone else seems to know more than him. And he's left being kind of mad at Dumbledore. Like, you didn't even tell me you lived in the town where my parents died. And it's just like a weird little thing. We're kind of left the same way. Like,
Oh yeah, that's
man, Dumbledore didn't even mention that one time.
Because that was the line. Bathilda Bagshot gets mentioned. But he goes, Bathilda Bagshot lives in Godric's Hollow? Oh, yeah, she's been there forever. The Dumbledores moved there after Percival was imprisoned, and she was their neighbor. The Dumbledores lived in Godric's Hollow?
That's a town.
Yeah.
I thought that was the name of the house.
Godric's Hollow. It's like
the
Sleepy
black,
Hollow. Yeah, the black, yeah.
What is there?
12 Grimmauld Place.
Oh no, that's
Black
actually
House.
a street.
The most noble and ancient house of black.
That's why I was getting confused. I'm like, how do they all live in the same house? Got it. Wow, I feel really smart.
But then
It's been a while.
Aunt Muriel goes, or Harry felt drained, empty. Never once in 6 years had Dumbledore told Harry that they had both lived and lost loved ones in Godric's Hollow. Why? Were Lily and James buried close to Dumbledore's mother and sister? Had Dumbledore visited their graves, perhaps walked past Lily's and James to do so? He had never once told Harry, never bothered to say. Which is again a weird thing, but why did Dumbledore never actually mention this? Again, it's his embarrassment, but he's an old man, and I feel like why wouldn't he tell Harry to gain some kind of kinship with him? And even just to show Harry, like, I've been there, I know what you're going through. Why is Dumbledore so secretive?
Great question.
I don't know. I wonder if it's a timing thing and he needed Harry to find this out later after the fact. But it still feels so weird that Alpheus felt shame about some of this. Almost like he wasn't going to say some of these details, but Muriel only did because she was drunk.
Yeah, like why didn't Dumbledore? Why didn't he say any of this stuff? Was it just because he was never asked? Because part of me is like, that's kind of true for me. If someone doesn't ask me a specific question about that, I'm not going to really tell them,
Yep.
So
Especially if it's sensitive or Dumbledore still one of them said Dumbledore never mentioned his sister after that day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or he's just filled his brain with more important stuff and doing research.
Yep.
He's not thinking about
doing research
sharing
on the
where
side.
he grew up.
Here is the last line in the chapter. We'll go on to the next one. We'll talk about this stuff in the next chapter as well. But Harry did not know where to begin, but it did not matter. At that moment, something large and silver came falling through the canopy over the dance floor, graceful and gleaming. The lynx landed lightly in the middle of the astonished dancers. Heads turned, as those nearest it froze absurdly in mid-dance. Then the Patronus's mouth opened wide, and it spoke in the loud, deep, slow voice of Kingsley Shacklebolt. The ministry has fallen. Scrimgeour is dead. They are coming. Oh, man, that's such a good chapter end. So we're on chapter 9 now, A Place to Hide. Unless, again, Danny has anything else in chapter 8?
No, I think it's good. Yeah,
we'll cover some of the other stuff too. We'll keep talking about it. Does Jen have something in chapter 8?
Not chapter.
Gnome saliva again?
No, the last thing you were just saying though. I just find it interesting because like the ministry was not being. I don't know. They weren't being protected. They were just trying to play detective to find out what Dumbledore was up to, right?
Yeah.
It just seems weird. They feel like they were very exposed and like not protecting themselves. So I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. I just find it weird. I'm like, wait, how could the ministry actually fall? Or they all became bad?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, how does the ministry fall? I was wondering the same. Scrimgeour dying is a good start. But like it's made up of so many people. Like
But are they all Death Eaters?
A few of them are.
Yeah, there are definitely some Death Eaters in there.
Yaxley is in the ministry.
But is there no second in command? There's no vice president.
I mean, who do you think this is going to sound ridiculous? Who do you think is the second in command right now?
The one that got fired?
As long as it's not Umbridge.
Oh, it is
No,
Umbridge.
she's still working at the ministry right now.
Yeah. And there could be some very unqualified second, third, fourth in command. But
Yeah.
it's weird to say has fallen.
And you know what's annoying is that why couldn't he have actually gone to Harry's level instead of like accusing Dumbledore and Harry for stuff? You need Harry like to get information, so he could have played a whole different approach. I could have had a whole different approach to maybe help
the ministry?
not the ministry, like they could have helped each other maybe. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
It does feel like they were fighting, working against each other rather than helping. Is Percy dead? He was Scrimgeour's boy.
Dang, is Percy gonna ascend and become an evil?
Oh, I didn't even think
He
about
already is
him.
kind of evil, but
I keep forgetting about him.
Yeah, he didn't show up to the wedding. Lame. But if he did, he would have lived. If he's dead. Or he could be a Death Eater now. Or maybe he was the one who killed Scrimgeour.
oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. And if he was
What did I
well,
open
that does
up?
seem like a bit of Voldemort's move. Like getting someone like Draco to do like the killing or whatever. So maybe he was doing the same thing with a bunch of other impressionable kids. And he's like, yeah, Percy, I'll put you in a position of power. Why don't you just wait for the right moment?
Yeah.
And
He
then
does
I'll,
like
call
the
on you.
weaker ones or the younger ones, right? To like,
Yeah, the ones who
except Snape. Where did
respect
Snape
power.
come from?
well, we don't know anything
I
about
know,
him.
but he
That's what
had
I'm
to
saying.
get
He-
him young.
young.
I think,
And that's why
and he had no friends.
his worst
Yep.
memory could have led to him being with Voldemort.
yeah, so
Like
annoying.
that could have led right down that path.
Yep, like the next day you could have just gone and
Yep.
I hate everyone. Oh, you hate everyone? Join my club.
Yep.
It just feels again a little sloppy that the ministry didn't take things seriously enough to have a backup plan. I'm thinking of like the movies where if the president gets assassinated, the entire country can be run from Air Force One and it can be refueled in the sky
Yeah.
and they can just pick up the vice president or whoever's third, fourth, fifth in command. And then it automatically does this like protocol and then everything goes on as normal. So what would Voldemort have to do to overthrow the whole ministry that they had no backup plan for?
Well, they've been
it has to be at
imperiousing
the ministry, right?
Like, so they imperious essentially the vice president, Pius Thicknesse. Like, I guess in the ministry pecking order, he is like high up. He is one of the top.
Right.
Dolores Umbridge is one of the top. So those two, like, you know, that both of those are evil. Like, there's other people.
Yeah, you're right. So if you kill the top guy,
Yeah.
and the next guy who takes over is under the Imperious
Yeah.
or is a Death Eater, that's a fallen ministry,
Yep.
I guess. Maybe that's what Kingsley means, and it's not the death and destruction that I'm kind of picturing. So okay, that's fair. It could just be run by evil people, or like I briefly theorized, it's not actually fallen. They just captured Kingsley
Yeah.
and Imperiused him and got
Right.
him to send his Patronus to make everyone think it was fallen.
I don't want to think that way.
So that'll lead into the next chapter, because there's another Patronus that comes in the next chapter. And you have to ask the question, is that fake or is that real? Where it says the whole family's safe, stay where you are.
Oh, the Weasley.
Weasley,
Mr.
yeah, the
Weasley.
It
Weasel
feels like it has to be real because we don't understand what the goal is. If Voldemort's just trying to watch the kids and see where they go and he's just sitting from a distance watching them, that's bad news. But if it really wasn't safe and Voldemort wanted to kill Harry, you'd think he could get the Weasleys to say a different message. It's all safe, all clear, apparate right back now. And then they go back and they catch them. So I feel like that makes me think we can take it at face value. Like, you know, we're safe and stay away.
Yeah. We'll talk about it. Give me a quick summary of a place to hide.
They're on the run. They being Ron, Hermione, and Harry. And they're trying to figure out what to do, but they just apparated and Hermione was actually ready. She had a little bag ready to go with clothes for them and everything. So they go to a little coffee shop, a diner. They get attacked by Death Eaters. Then they go to Grimmauld Place. Then there were a couple of booby traps there that freaked them out for a second. And now they're kind of getting settled and, you know, figuring out, well, how to make a plan, I guess. So yeah, they're getting their
Mr.
bearings after the
Yes.
wedding.
Patronus goes there.
Yeah,
Yep.
Mr. Weasley's Patronus shows up to give the message.
Which I thought was weird at first, but then I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
Remember our discussion?
Yeah. And in the chapter picture, there's a moon, a crescent moon. So Lupin is either 13 or 16 days away from being werewolf. Counting down to action.
Oh my god.
Danny's waiting for the next chapter when it becomes it's gonna be 13 days later, and you're like, oh no,
What's
happening
now? So yeah, maybe by 11 we'll see some Lupin werewolf action. A place to hide.
Hermione is the greatest in this chapter.
She's so good.
Because he goes, when you say you've got the cloak and clothes, said Harry, frowning at Hermione, who was carrying nothing except her small beaded handbag, in which she was now rummaging. Yes, they're here, said Hermione. And to Harry and Ron's utter astonishment, she pulled out a pair of jeans, a sweatshirt, some maroon socks, and finally, the silvery invisibility cloak. Oh,
That
she is
little
the best.
purse in the picture is very tiny.
I know. Yep.
It's
It's
so
that small. I
tiny.
know. Small
So
little
true.
beaded bag or whatever, however
So
describes
good.
it.
I
She's-
love that. Except she got Ron's wrong jeans. They were size too small.
That's maybe the most important question in this chapter. Would you, if Hermione packs the wrong jeans that you have, would you risk it and go back to the burrow to get your good fitting jeans?
Oh my gosh, no, because there's magic.
You
I'm
can
like, just
extend your
adjust
jeans.
your size.
Ah.
That's such a great point. Why isn't Ron just like they use the extendable charm
Yep.
on
Extend those jeans.
extend the pockets of your jeans? You could fit anything that you want in there.
Hermione just likes looking at Ron's butt. So she got the small ones on purpose. She wouldn't make a mistake like that.
Yeah, it's kind of true. Actually, kind of headcanon
Oh
right
my
there. Hermione knew what
gosh.
she was doing. Ron has a nice
That's
butt.
funny.
Ron's apparition sound is nice and juicy. So
Juicy.
Hermione's like, got to get in this tight jeans.
Classic. It's classic Hermione right there.
Oh my gosh. But we kind of have a little discussion here. But Harry threw the invisibility cloak around his shoulders and pulled it up over his head, vanishing from sight. He was only just beginning to appreciate what had happened. The others, everyone at the wedding. So later we get the Patronus that says everyone is safe, or the family is safe at least. Do you think everyone at the wedding is safe? Do you think that there were any casualties or anything bad that happened to anybody? Was anybody captured?
I think bad things probably happened.
Yeah.
It feels like the timing was too suspicious, and Voldemort may have done it like on purpose, overthrowing the ministry during the wedding, the timing of it all. And then when everyone panicked and ran, it dropped the shields at the burrow, right? Like that kind of equivalent, or it was something along those lines where it feels like that was part of the plan, the Death Eater plan. So whether the Death Eaters made it to the burrow or not, I don't know. But I think anyone who panicked and ran, depending on how they tried to escape, could have been trouble. And if the ministry falls, then who's in charge of, the flu network or apparition or like port keys? It just feels like someone would have been captured or killed in all of that chaos.
Yikes.
And it might have been a plan, like a Death Eater plan to do it that way.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know how.
It's like cause chaos so you can isolate someone and then capture them.
Yeah.
Someone actually says too, Hermione knew that they would have trouble finding food, so she packed him the smaller jeans in anticipation for him losing weight.
Nice. Good thought, Hermione.
This is one of the most fascinating questions of the chapter is how did the Death Eaters find him? But this is the passage I want to read because this is kind of where we get it. After a minute or two, Ron said, we're not far from the leaky cauldron here. It's only in Charing Cross. Ron, we can't, said Hermione at once. Not to stay there, but to find out what's going on. We know what's going on. Voldemort's taken over the ministry. What else do we need to know? Okay, it was just an idea. They relapsed into a prickly silence. The gum-chewing waitress shuffled over and Hermione's ordered 2 cappuccinos. As Harry was invisible, it would have looked odd to order him one. A pair of burly workmen entered the cafe and squeezed into the next booth. Hermione dropped her voice to a whisper. How did these Death Eaters find them?
This could have all been part of the plan. Again, like if they're monitoring who's apparating, disapparating. We don't know enough about how that works.
I thought they were tracking him.
Like, oh yeah, Harry is still traceable because he's underage. Wait, his birthday's tomorrow?
I'm confused about when the birthday...
No,
the birthday already happened.
Passed.
Yeah, his birthday was...
So technically they're not supposed to be tracking, but the fact that they were tracking and it's been infiltrated by moles, maybe
Ron said, what if they extended it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I would think that.
That's possible.
That's not... What else could it be?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Could they have known where she was going to apparate? Could Voldemort have done legilimency to make her think of an idea, but implant it like Inception? You can do it
from that far away. I thought you had to be...
I don't know.
But I think Hermione throws that... She just said it was the first thing that popped into her head.
But that's what it popped into her head. That's what throws me off. Like Tottenham Court, randomly. Like if Voldemort is good at legilimency and could do it just quickly, just like sneakily.
But he wasn't there necessarily. Can he do it?
Yeah, not necessarily.
Can he do it?
That's what I didn't think.
No, I thought... To me, I thought he was there. So the second that it dropped down and everyone scatters, Voldemort is there with scanning for Harry. He doesn't know, but he sees Hermione and is just like legilimency from here.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because I'm still picturing the Death Eaters hovering above this shield somewhere, waiting for Scrimgeour to die so he could come rushing in. And maybe it wasn't Voldemort, but we know Snape is good at legilimency. So maybe he's just waiting outside for this like perfect moment. But there could be something way more simple to it, or it could have just been luck, or I don't know. If the leaky cauldron was there just down the road, these two could have just been passing by. That would be a little bit much.
Was it Leaky Cauldron? Isn't that close? It's like somewhat close, but it's not crazy
close enough that I don't know. Yeah, could they?
Or what if they just have people like every street within a certain radius. No, but they're not even that close, right? They apparated, so you
Yeah.
can't have every street.
Mm.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, here's another one.
Could they?
Go ahead.
Could you put like a tracer on someone else's wand so you know where they operate? Like
Yeah,
Hermione?
could there be more to it? Something like that.
Anyway.
Is anything we know of traceable? Not really. But if they took over the ministry, they might have access to a lot more than we realize.
Yeah. And it's not like you can bug something to listen on a conversation where they're like, I'm going to go here. It's not like, that.
I thought of Reader Skeeter being in their bag.
Dang, maybe they were in the
something.
bag the whole time and she pulled it out.
Okay.
Here's another tough question for this chapter. What are we going to do with them? Ron whispered to Harry through the dark. Then even more quietly, kill them? They'd kill us. They had a good go just now. Hermione shuddered and took a step backwards. Harry shook his head. We just need to wipe their memories, said Harry. It's better like that. It'll throw them off the scent. If we killed them, it'd be obvious that we were here. What should they do with these people?
As I'm just questioning and reading it, I'm like, it looks like these Death Eaters didn't try to kill them.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, why not? I'm only saying it because is there a chance they're wrong and these are not Death Eaters, but were other wizards and they recognized each other and there was this moment of tension, like the ministry just got overthrown. So these other Death Eaters are not Death Eaters. These other wizards are sitting there and they're all kind of like, it's like a duel, like waiting. And then whoever makes the first move, but then Harry or Ron, I think whoever it was, flinched. And then that caused this fight. But neither one of them knows who the other people are. They're just like, tension's high.
Yeah.
And I'm only playing that idea out because that's another reason not to just kill them.
Yeah.
Because we just don't know enough. So in one way you might say, oh, they're Death Eaters, kill them so you don't have to deal with them later. They might come back and kill somebody you love. But like, they're just kids. They don't even know who these guys are. For the sake of things, don't go killing people.
There's one thing that some people are throwing out in chat that is actually a pretty devastating detail, and it's a small detail that you will have blown over in the prior book, and it's really small. But do you know anything about Anton Dolohov?
It sounds familiar.
He's a Death Eater.
Oh, wait. Do we know his? Yeah, Dolohov is the one who. No, it might be the one who hit.
It's like history. Magic.
History. I'm like, wait, no, I think that was.
Dolohov was devastatingly the person that likely killed Molly's brothers.
Yeah.
So Ron's uncles were killed by this person, and maybe Ron just doesn't recognize them, recognize this guy at the moment. But there was another thing in the mass breakout. There was a write-up on all of them in the Daily Prophet. So Ron probably should have known who this guy was. So it's interesting that Ron recognizes him. Maybe he just doesn't put two and two together because they're in like a flurry right now. And it's like, a lot of adrenaline pumping through your veins. But this is the guy that killed his uncles.
Whoa, that's pretty intense. And wait, when does it come up his name? I think the big one's Thorfinn Roll. That's Dolohov. All right, so Ron, I recognize them from the old Wanted posters. I forgot that they like kind of confirmed it. Well, it does make them a little more killable.
Can they even do it though?
No, I don't know if they even could.
Do they have to practice?
Not to be too dark. They could do it the old
Unlike
Muggle
an
ways, but
The bug on a beetle.
The spider, or was it a beetle? I can't remember.
wow, that's pretty intense.
I feel like they actually should practice on
And if Ron
insects.
now recognizes
right?
them,
Right? It would work if they meant to.
Yeah. But the Obliviate does seem like it should be added to the Unforgivable Curses. The Obliviate is a pretty crazy spell to be using and whipping around. It's probably not as bad as killing someone.
yeah, right.
But
or like I mentioned in the live read, the line that was sticking out from Rita, or someone was saying about Rita, is that she can always get there are ways of bringing back memories, and I'm sure Rita Skeeter knows them all.
Yeah.
And no offense to Rita, I'm sure she's great, but if Rita's doing it, I bet Voldemort knows that and more.
Voldemort knows that and more, but at the same time, like, Gilderoy Lockhart was exceptionally gifted at obliviating charms, and like they're hard to do. But if that's your MO and that's like the only thing that you're using, like Rita knows how to get memories out of people because she's a journalist and she practices this all the time. It's not like an average Death Eater or even Ron, Harry, and Hermione could just do this and like get it. It does take like a lot of practice and for you to get good at this kind of spell work.
Yeah.
So like she is probably used to like ripping memories out of people.
And Lockhart is still in St. Mungo's.
Yeah.
So if they at St. Mungo's can't figure out a way to fix it.
Yep.
Maybe he was so good at taking the memories out that it can't be restored.
Yeah.
And maybe Hermione's just that good. We can hope that these memories are,
Are the defenses that they leave in... So, like, after they do this whole thing and they obliviate these people, they go to 12 Grimmauld Place and they find all these defenses there. They find, like, the dust coming up and spilling over and acting like it's Dumbledore, and they find the voice of Moody and everything like that. But are these good defenses?
They don't seem like it. But there could be more that are actually good, that are more hidden. Because it's funny that the defenses get like half triggered, thinking it could be like someone else or Snape or whatever. But I imagine if the defenses were really good, they would be more hidden.
Yeah.
So, because I hope this isn't just a one and done, like that was it, because they just weren't strong enough, or maybe this was just a little warm up, and if it was really an intruder or Snape, the defenses would have gone nuts. But then I'm like, did they do more now that they're sleeping there? Is there more defending them from Snape or other Death Eaters or Voldemort or enemies? I hope so, because it's hard to rest easy if you're afraid of attack.
And I think one of the things too is because these attacks, or because these defenses don't seem so strong, did Snape actually infiltrate this house? Is it safe for them to be in 12 Grimmauld Place right now?
I mean, like they debated, it's not that safe, but it's probably safer than anywhere else. I think Harry was the one who said anywhere else they go, they're vulnerable to all attacks. But at least here, it would only be Snape. He's the only one who could get through because he was part of the Order. So the Secret Keeper told him where it was. So in a way, it feels like the safest space. But actually, you know what? Maybe I take it back. Like Hermione was saying with going out into the countryside, maybe that could be safe. Just get far away in a random place.
Yeah, but they did go to a random place. I mean, the city.
Yeah, and then they got found anyway.
Yeah.
So maybe that's enough for them to be like, maybe that's not safe. We better not try that again. Let's go somewhere we know that, well, it's good too because the Patronus found them from the Weasleys.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like other members of the Order will assume they go there, but it's to the same point. Maybe that's where Snape would know they are.
Yeah.
So it's risky.
Yep. A few more, just like 2-3 more questions, and then we'll finish with these chapters and just go on to some of the main stuff. But so they're talking about like shutting Voldemort out. Like Harry has a sharp pain across his forehead, and he's like, he feels Voldemort's rage. Do you think that Voldemort would actually infiltrate Harry's mind again and try to trick him that way? And would Harry fall for it?
Harry would fall for it.
Yeah.
I think he would.
Yeah.
You're nodding your head, Jen?
Mm-hmm. I think so too.
Only because he just can't help himself.
Yeah.
He just cannot help himself.
He has a saving people complex.
Yeah, but I'm not so sure Voldemort would do it again, but Harry's got to practice loving people. Because that's kind of what got him out the first time. He was thinking of loving Sirius, right? So now he's just got to be like, happy thoughts, Harry, with Sirius and Dumbledore, and just like trying to find, I guess, love, if that's the greatest weapon, and it's something Voldemort lacks. But I don't know, it's a nerve-wracking spot to be. Why wouldn't Voldemort try it again?
Yeah.
just to see,
Yeah.
play around with the idea.
Hermione doesn't know anything to help.
Yeah, I
think
guess
she
not.
would be his best chance.
Yeah, seriously, I know that. Like again, if Hermione is with them, rather than Dumbledore, Hermione seems like the most knowledgeable person in the wizarding world.
Yeah, right.
So if Hermione doesn't know, then like he's screwed. He doesn't have any
She
hope.
also brought her textbooks. So.
I know exactly.
Look up some stuff on this.
Yeah.
I am concerned about the troll's leg umbrella stand lying on its side because it does imply somebody else was here. But it might have just been Tonks. She tripped over it once before.
She's clumsy. Yeah,
And they even showed it in the movie.
they did.
But I don't know. It feels like it could mean something else. But I don't think
Who else would be there? Who else could have gone? Are you thinking Snape? Because Snape is really Snape or Mundungus? Because those are the only
Mundungus
two other
might be
people.
clumsy like that. I don't think of Snape like. I don't think if he was there, especially if he was trying to hide and he hasn't attacked them yet, I don't think he would leave something knocked over.
Maybe this is going to sound crazy,
weird.
but could either of them have been there a few moments before Harry was actually there, and they just left in a hurry because they were like they heard the door about to
Like someone else was arriving and they
something like
bailed.
that?
I mean, maybe it could be, but I don't think you can apparate in. So how did they get out? That's what I'm wondering. Like, is someone in the house hiding somewhere? I feel like that's the only thing that would be possible. But then again, it's connected to the flu network because didn't Harry stick his head in to talk to
talk to Sirius.
to try and find Sirius?
But I think he knows the secret of the secret keeper.
Yeah, so you'd still would need to know the secret, but it means that anyone else from the Order, if they were there thinking, oh my goodness, this is Snape, I gotta bail, and then they run and use the flu network, that would still make sense. Anyone in the Order, you don't try and take on Snape, at least not by yourself.
Yeah.
If it was someone just there like doing something quick, so they might just want to get out of there. But if the Ministry fell, the flu network's not safe anyway, so I don't know.
That's a fascinating little thing you picked up. The troll thing was knocked over. Yeah, maybe it was just Tonks because she's clumsy.
It could just be Tonks.
Yeah.
And I still am just curious about it. I thought that they brought up Tonks being clumsy a couple times because it would be a signal to us that at some point she's going to be clumsy when it really matters and it's going to be a negative thing. But it could just be that we're about to have a really cozy moment where other members of the Order are here. Tonks or Lupin are upstairs in the bedroom, and then in the morning they're like, "Oh my goodness, guys!"
No, they can't be because Hermione cast Harmonium Revelio and no one was there.
And nobody was there.
Or maybe they'll come in the morning or something like that.
Or maybe they just left immediately.
Or maybe it doesn't sense werewolves.
Ooh. Yeah, it's a weird one. Or maybe it was just knocked over from way before, and Tonks put some other protections in place there, and that's when it got knocked over, and it doesn't mean anything. But it's just weird.
All right, last question for this one, because this is where the Patronus comes in. And the Patronus, which is a weasel, speaks in the voice of Ron's father and says, "Family safe, do not reply, we are being watched." So a few questions for this one. Can you fake a Patronus? Did Ron's dad just send a Patronus in every which direction to try to find them? Do Patronuses track? What is going on with this? Is there like a little secrecy? Is there like cameras in this house that he was like, oh, they're at 12 Grimwald Place, and he like sent the Patronus to Grimwald Place?
I feel like maybe they could have put spells there that would notify them if someone came by, potentially. We've never seen a spell like that, but maybe.
And can you fake a Patronus?
What do you think, Jen? Could you fake a Patronus?
What's your Patronus again? A horse? I think you wanted it to be a horse.
I think it was a dog. Oh, I think it was some kind of dog. I thought.
Wait, and John, yours was a fox?
Yeah,
That's great.
because I love mine.
I can't remember.
You don't remember what kind of dog? Or it maybe was a dog? I forget too. I just know I'm a brown hair.
You have brown hair.
I don't, there are only so many Patronuses. I'm not sure you could fake one, but you could have the same one.
Ooh.
So if you're under Polyjuice and you use a Patronus, it would be your normal Patronus. But if you were under Polyjuice using one of Mr. Weasley's hair and your Patronus was also a weasel, you could sound like him and look like him in the form of a Patronus.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
I'm just curious how a Patronus and Polyjuice would work together.
Because we do. So Harry's is a stag. Was Harry's dad's Patronus a stag?
We don't actually know.
We don't know.
But maybe.
Yeah. And then
ooh, if Percy was under Polyjuice,
is his a weasel?
his could be a weasel. Is he even capable of doing a Patronus? Not a full corporeal. Come on.
Okay,
now.
that
A husky. I had
Yours
that.
is
You're
a
a
husky? That's
nice.
awesome.
Yeah,
that's
is
a cool one. Also, is a Death Eater capable of doing a Patronus? Is Voldemort capable of doing a Patronus?
Oh yeah, actually, that's weird. I
So
don't
that's
think
the
we've
thing.
seen a dark wizard do a Patronus
Yeah.
yet. Have we?
That's the thing. Can it actually be faked?
I think it can the same way a good wizard could do Avada Kedavra. We assume. I think even a dark wizard could summon something within them that is light. But I'm actually not sure though. Like maybe.
What's your question?
Like, can a dark wizard do a Patronus because it's like goodness?
I know. I was just thinking when you said that, I'm like, Voldemort
Like-
never sends. a
Yeah, he never sends
Patronus anywhere.
Patronuses.
So do we
have
know
the
this is
tattoos.
Mr. Weasley, or could this be something else? And could the Patronus get in?
But what does that mean? I felt like we discussed this last time, and it was like there would be nothing gained by saying that the family's safe.
True. And that's what we think. But we don't know enough about it. Maybe Voldemort is trying to track down RAB and doesn't think he can, but he thinks they can. So he's waiting for them to find RAB. And this was all like part of his thing because he's like, it could be something else. Or maybe, I just don't know.
There's a small detail in the prior book about someone enduring or in going through a change of Patronus.
Yeah, Tonks.
Could you actually change your Patronus to be something else willingly?
Like temporarily or
Not even
forever, just
temporarily.
like change it.
Yeah, just change it because it's like you're imitating someone else.
I don't. Ooh.
And what caused Tonk's change of Patronus?
True.
That's
love.
a fascinating thing. Wait, so if you truly love someone, it becomes their Patronus or it becomes them?
I
what
don't
their
think it's a
Patronus was?
guarantee or anything, but I do feel like that's what it was for Tonks.
Yeah, but
Interesting.
Because it became a werewolf, right?
It
Or was it
became-
just a wolf?
It was a wolf.
Which is
But what was it
interesting.
before?
Which is, huh?
we don't know what it was before.
No. Okay, so that is a great question. In the movie, a werewolf and a wolf look drastically different. In the books, they look nearly the same.
Yeah. Which makes sense to me.
Yeah.
In my mind, a werewolf should look basically like
Yeah.
a wolf. Or at least a magical type
Yeah.
of wolf. But actually, didn't we discuss at the time when that was happening, because Snape made a comment, and I thought it was funny that like he made it sound like, oh yeah, your Patronus is looking a little weak here. Like he was trying to get in her head, but it actually was a huge upgrade. Like her previous Patronus might actually have been a hare or like something small.
No, I
You're
thought it
still
was the
stuck on this
opposite.
idea that the animal is actually the thing that's protecting
No,
you.
but not that it's a protecting thing, but just the idea of like, I think we know her Patronus changed, and not in a
She's
subtle way from a
shapeshifter
werewolf or a.
or whatever.
Huh.
So
Would that be
she
part of
should
it?
be able to change anything,
She
right?
can. Her Patronus can shapeshift too.
Interesting.
That's why she's the only one that we've seen that. So I don't really go off
Yeah.
of that
Ugh.
because she has.
True love's the only thing that can change a Patronus into the other person.
True love. if that, because that was all during the same time where she was like falling in love with Lupin and he was resisting and all that, and she was in turmoil about it. Quite a bit of turmoil. I mean, she had a lot of other things going on too, but still. I think we trust that this is Mr. Weasley. But if I were those kids, I would take everything with a grain of salt because
Yeah.
you just don't know enough about any of this stuff. So take a second and
But
just
what I
be
just
careful.
don't understand what you think is bad. If it is
No, that's why I don't
fake,
think there is
what
anything.
is it?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think there's anything
Oh,
bad
so
here.
why are we talking about it?
Because we want to understand at a deeper level so that we could
5 to 10 minutes.
you're like it's bedtime, no more Patronus talk.
That is a fascinating idea that a Patronus
Yeah.
could change or who can cast a Patronus. But whatever it is, this Patronus for sure, even if it's fake, it's telling them nothing
Good
of
s- yeah, I think
substance.
it's a
Yeah.
good-
So it's like
We
it's a
are
good thing
being
if
watched.
they're being lied to. Then you're like, okay, I'm still not going to go visit. I think one of the lines that makes it like almost confirms that it's maybe not is do not reply. Like if you're a Death Eater and you're sending this as a fake one, be like reply immediately to
Yep.
us. You know,
But I don't know why they shouldn't reply. That's the weird part to me.
because they're being
Because
watched.
it gives it
Yeah, but-
away.
Does it give it away? Like,
Everyone, I think everyone knows Harry's is Patronus. So if he's sending his stag around, I don't
That's
even know.
not
to be-
subtle.
yeah, I don't even know.
How
if
does
they,
it even go around?
and
Does it
what?
just
Why would it be
appear?
bad though? That's the part that I'm curious about. Like, does it leave a trail? Because if so, wouldn't it be more dangerous to send your weasel rather than receive something? Because I'm like,
No, but I'm just
I don't
thinking.
know if
I'm
the
thinking it
kids
just
send the
appears
Patronus.
like right in front of you.
just like boom.
I don't think it's like traveling.
Yeah.
Like a owl.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is hard to
I
tell.
think so.
But I'm just curious why a reply would mean something. But I guess you just gotta trust it.
Yep. All right, final questions.
Gonna punch
Who's your anything else in this chapter? Real quick.
Harry's still not letting people in.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, not that this one is
He's
excusable.
growing, but not
Yeah.
fully.
Yeah, he's nervous
we
about
would
it all.
like
But I'm
it
like,
to
just
be.
let them know what's going on.
He still
And
has,
at the end, he's
has-
like trying to fight it to be casual. I'm like, don't be
Yeah.
casual. Just let them know something's happening.
Yeah, he's growing, but slow growth. All right, favorites. Let's do your house cup, favorite moment, and hot tamale.
You ready, Jen?
Why do I think this is always a surprise? And I know it comes every time.
There's a lot of hot tamales in
Hermione,
this
I
chapter.
think, was house cup.
100%.
She-
I agree
Yeah,
with
so
that.
true.
Thought of everything
Yep.
and saved their butts.
Yes. If she, they would be dead literally a few seconds after they apparated because they wouldn't have done anything with the Death
wouldn't-
Eaters.
They
would
might not have
been
even
dead.
operated properly.
I know. They wouldn't even have known how to. Yeah.
Oof.
Yep.
So there's that.
I think,
Respect.
I think Hermione for me is House Cup winner. Without her, they'd be dead.
Yep. They'd be dead and without clothes. Naked and dead.
I just don't get why they had to bring clothes. You have wands. Don't get it. Bippity boppity boop.
remember The Office when Michael Scott is thrown out into the woods and he's like, I made a tent out of my pants, and he's like, I was getting hot, so I cut my pants and made shorts. I'm like, that's what Harry and Ron would be doing
Yep.
if Hermione was with them.
So true.
They'd be with their wands
Oh my
fashioning their pants into like different, like a
Yep.
blazer, then like, you know.
Harry would just be hiding invisible because he's
know.
naked.
Well, she's holding them back from their potential.
Um,
Do you have a different one? No. You
no. Hermione is the
Hot
house cup winner
tamale
for me.
could also be Hermione though,
I know.
or Floor. I liked that scene when you were talking about. Where
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so
glowing.
good.
There's a lot of hot tamales. Fred and George could be hot tamales in this.
With Floor's
you know?
cousins out
Floor's
in the woods.
cousins.
Ay, ay, ay.
There's one moment I'm gonna steal Jen's typical hot tamale and Ginny because there's one moment that melted my
Oh.
heart, and this when Ginny was a bridesmaid and she looks out over the whole crowd and sees Harry and just like winks at him. I'm like, the confidence that Ginny has to do that, like
Whoa.
there's something
I
so
feel like I
cute
might
about
have
like
even
a
missed
wink
that.
like
I
that.
missed that too.
That's good. That's a good move. Winks
I
are
thought you were
powerful.
gonna say when Grandma said her dress is too low cut.
Respect.
Oh, you know.
You know?
She's looking good. And I love the, like, again, she doesn't portray this in the movies very well. She doesn't have confidence, but in the books, her confidence of
Yep.
like, if everyone's eyes are on you and you're looking out over the crowd and you see someone and you just give them a wink, like everyone's looking at you pretty much.
Yep.
And you just have the confidence to wink at someone that you like. You know, that's pretty,
Confidence. You have said that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's hot tamale energy right
That
there.
is such hot tamale energy. Yeah, so she's my hot tamale, Ginny.
Yeah, that is a
Ginevra.
good one. I'll give it to Fred and George. I think they deserve it.
Nice.
Even if it is a little bit creepy, but you know.
Oh boy.
Favorite moment.
None of the wedding felt like it could be my favorite just because the tension was there.
I like when she was like Mary Poppins with her bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, that again, it was like a relief of
Yeah.
she thought of this
That
stuff.
whole thing
She's
was
prepared.
just like
Oh,
great.
good.
yeah, it was relief for me because I hate these situations.
My favorite moments to read, though, it was with Muriel and Elpheus and Harry.
that's
Like
true.
Yeah.
the information and
was
like,
true.
I don't know. It was like not accurate. It was coming through Muriel, so we were questioning, but it was fascinating all the same. So I'll remember that stuff for sure.
We know.
Biggest impact moment. So yeah, I'll say that was my favorite moment.
That's a good one too.
But taking
Yeah.
down those Death Eaters, I mean,
I know that was good.
that's straight up. It's
Yeah.
3-on-2, but still, these are experienced
yeah,
Death Eaters
that's true.
who were taking down
That's a good one also.
members of the Order.
Yeah,
so,
we need another one for Kristen. So
oh yeah, what would Kristen's favorite moment be?
It would be the moment before everything bad happened when they're at the wedding, before the wedding, when everyone is mingling and just having a good time.
Yeah, you're
There's like
right,
an
you're
energy
right.
and a buzz to that. So Kristen, in honor of you,
Pre-wedding buzz for sure.
that'll be my favorite moment. The pre-wedding buzz, just a fun
Yep.
camaraderie that everyone has. You know, Hagrid sitting on 5 chairs and collapsing all of them and apologizing
Yep.
profusely.
Yeah,
to
that
everyone.
was funny.
Someone says Crumb unfortunately can't be considered for the hot tamale because all of the good-looking girls were already taken. That's
oh
what he
my
says.
gosh.
What is the point of being an
That is
international
so
Quidditch
funny,
sensation
yeah.
if all the good-looking girls are taken?
That's great.
Great line. All right, well, thanks for joining us on our journey of Harry Potter and the First-Time Readers. Until next time.
I was using image generators online because I thought it'd be funny if we had merch of naked Harry on a horse.
Your search history is going to be real
Yeah,
weird
but you
next
know
week.
what? The image generators wouldn't do it. And I
No,
was trying to be
they're not
like,
great. You can't do
I was
nudity.
trying to do it like in a way that it didn't look bad. The problem is, even if you say like in shorts or shirtless or anything, but then it ended up just being Harry Potter on a horse, and I was like, this looks lame. So then I was like, forget it.
You typed in Daniel Radcliffe.
You
A
could.
naked Daniel Radcliffe
I
bareback
very
on a
much
horse.
think you could probably Photoshop that because Daniel Radcliffe does have
nice.
naked pictures for his
Yeah.
Broadway play around. So you could probably take him as a naked person.
Yeah.
Photoshop him on a horse, and then we'll put a black bar over his private parts.
That's perfect. And
Or the horse's head. Was
Yeah. That I feel
That's
like
what I'm
that'd be
saying.
an
I'm like,
album
nothing would
cover.
be visible. And I
Yeah.
tried to like type it out that way, but Harry Potter was trouble too because of copyright maybe. So a few of the image generators didn't even like me using the word Harry Potter. So I
Yeah.
was like, goodness.